Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining. A couple more have just joined, so unmute the mics. How will I begin here tonight? First thing I wish to say is indeed we're in such an elevated time with this ascension, so many things occurring congruently and concurrently and simultaneously, if you will, as well. One thing that's very significant, I put out the update a few days ago and just put out uh, an update to that respect tonight about a bifurcation event. And just to keep it simple, it's a splitting of the realities and the timeline and the layers again within one reality. So, without complicating it, what's occurring is all of the advanced ones are again raising back up to a top layer of the what you would call the one timeline that is playing out. However, it is actually two with that because the layers of the advanced ones is a different layer of reality, what the lower one is. So, having said that, this is what's occurring. So, and it's beautiful to hear this and to know this as well, because what I was given to put out towards the end of September, that we would be taking quite a plunge in October in the reality, if you will. And in the last few weeks, yes, there's been noticeable events and things that have occurred worldwide that, in the least, is substantiating uh, enough footing and enough ground for the pioneers, the vanguard way showers of the ascension to take things forward, uh, effecting now and effecting also the lower timeline. So it means you're going to have more impact and more effect than even before on this lower timeline. Now, what I wish to say, I had anticipated it would be the whole entire month of October linear time. However, and of course, we're happy with that. We've only been 2 weeks into October, and that plunge, at least for the advanced ones, the more awakened ones, that plunge is over for us. So we're going up higher, which is good, and also your physical vessels. A lot of uh, what I would say, phantom symptoms ascending, the phantom ascension symptoms that you experienced long ago, many of those resurfaced. And having said that, the reasoning for it is that the physical vessels had to become uh, decompressed, if you will, to go down in that lower timeline. And so while you were down in there, I don't know what just happened here. Is Are we still on here? I believe so.
Yeah, I'll declare.
Right. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. Yeah, my screen just changed here. So having said that, because the density and this is what we call, there is such thing as divine, or yeah, divine benevolent negativity. And there are times that it is I like to say rarely used, but there is times that it needs to be used in the past. I don't want to create anything for the future to what's the words? I need my divine vocabulary installed, Father, please, here for tonight. But let's just say sometimes negative things are necessary to occur to make a positive overall. And with that, much has occurred to that effect. So, that's a quick update of where we're at. And really, I'm really happy and very grateful for what I feel and the information I'm given that we are catapulting once again forward. So it is indeed very substantial. Now, it's not only what it means, let's say, for us, it's also is very substantial for the unawakened as well as the other subsequent lower levels of awakening and the subsequent waves. And to explain this, one needs to appreciate, but by no means to demean any, that there are levels of awakening that are associated with levels of consciousness. So those are recognized and are always, for the most part, playing an important role in the overall ascension. And to keep it simple, the advanced ones can only go so far forward. For if you were to go all of the way, you'd be out of this reality. And simply, again, this overall ascension is not a personal ascension. It's not about you. You have already ascended, or you already have all the keys to do so, and it's ascertained for you, meaning that at any given time, your physical vessels uh, can be transported into a higher timeline and a different reality. So this is not about us. You have the full divine security. It's about the selfless mission to Earth and the divine mission to advance the human souls forward so that they also begin to undergo the great change with their physical vessels to acclimatize to the higher frequency vibration of the new reality that we're creating, the heaven on earth. So, to be able to do that, the primitive human was a carbon based organism. It could not um, produce enough energetic value to sustain itself in a heaven on earth scenario for the carbon based um, anatomy, if you will, was for the hell and the purgatory levels. So it is to take the physical vessel and the physical experience forward. It is divinely necessary to upgrade the physical vessels. So this is what is occurring on the widespread scale. Now, with any of you that have entered the twin flame relationships, and not only very rarely without entering the twin flame relationships, one has experienced their instant physical vessel rejuvenation, if you will, where aging is erased instantly. For example, with I, when I first no longer was human, around 47 human years of age, when I had all of my divinity upon the planet, my facial features and even my body at one point had for a day and a half uh, had my face had become if I was 23 years old and my physical vessel even more stronger than what it had been when in my youth, which was amazing. but I'm sharing this, and this occurred instantly because everything is possible with God and yourself and the belief in this. And uh, I know there are many twin flames that can attest that when they are in their divine intimacy with their partner, that the age reverses and they become very young and things change. So this is very real, and the reason I brought this subject up because it is part of your ascension as well. And the real truth is the more purified you are in energy and conscious thought, and the more endowed you are with the divine knowledge, then the more apt you are at changing the physical vessel yourself. Now, however, overall, we are still regulated by the divine plan, that things are kept in check, that you cannot, at least at this time, have all of you reversing your aging process while you're still connected to family and friends and still doing your divine mission here, at least in this now. But what I am saying is that all of you have this ability. And what we are is we live forever. We do not die. And what I also can say that once you have the purification and the activation within yourself and your physical vessel advanced enough, you can keep these physical vessels alive for 1 billion years or even to infinity. And this is the truth that I am sharing with you. And again, I know others can attest because I'm not alone here with that at this time, that there are others that have achieved, if you will, these levels, what I'm speaking about. So it is very real. It's not a wishful thinking or a fantasy, meaning that it is very real. We know what we're speaking about and what we're purveying and delivering to the ascending waves as they awaken. And so we know what the mission is here, if you will, what I had simply said, and that is to fully liberate Earth and the human souls into the heaven on Earth scenario. And this is God's will and God's law that is being established firmly upon Earth, and it's being integrated through an assimilation, if you will, if you envision that. And this is what we're doing further and further every day. God's will is being integrated into this reality. So it's ascertained and it's guaranteed to that respect. I'd like to take this time now just to, so, everything is real. Once tried to say that there's a movie, that is playing out on the lower timeline, that a lot of these deaths are not real and what have you. But what I need to say, everything is real, or you would not be seeing it and experiencing it. And one needs to be very meticulous with how they discern what is occurring. And let me say, it is a huge wake up call for the U.S., what is currently uh, happening and what has occurred in North Carolina as a result of the Hurricane Helene. This is very significant and it's very instrumental at catapulting at this time the ascension forward, not only Helene Milton, of course, what came through, but not only limited to those as well. Ones need to understand, if you didn't know already, that over, let's say, the last 9 months or a year, worldwide, these unprecedented floods have been occurring. Jumping back, to North Carolina, the huge realization what is coming out of there with divine ones that have been in the experience and that live there is what they're putting out is the truth that rather than a government or a military, if you will, coming to any great aid like they should have been in an idea, truthful world, there is the absence of that for the most part. So this is a huge wake-up call. There are many that, many souls or many bodies, many that have died there. Wow. Uh, Femke and Femke just shared a video tonight from a genuine girl on the ground there, and her thing, what she had said, what I listened to, is that the news is reporting maybe 200 lives lost, while she is part of the rescue crew there that they had ordered in 10,000 body bags, and another order just went out for more body bags. So the stark truth and realization of actually what is occurring there is coming out more and more. And what it is revealing and exposing is the actual evil, nefarious governments, not only in the US, worldwide, they're all a connected evil crime syndicate. But what it's showing is that the people need to unite together and make a stand. And and the current worldwide system is the evil system, the entire capitalistic system. So what we're bringing in is God's plan, new system that uh, quickly takes humanity out of the need for money at all. However, it's being done uh, in a way that the tables are flipped on the evil, that the control of money is being put in the human soul's hands and taken away from the evil. So this is very substantial. It is the divine plan and divine law, which is being once again established on earth for those that are part of it and know it, and for those that don't know it yet, you are hearing it now. So, having said that, it is, when you look from, let's say, what you would call a realistic lower level of consciousness with what's occurring in North Carolina, when you look at a government, especially that instantly come up with billions or perhaps $1 trillion for a war, and then nothing sent to help its own people, you can see the huge impact that that's having on many and how it will on more. And this also implodes the political system, not only in US, it affects everything worldwide. And it shows that it's not the way. It doesn't matter who within the political system is voted in. They're all part of a crime syndicate because the whole political system itself is the dark system of suppression, enslavement, and ruling and controlling humanity. The entire system, with its monetary policy and its illusion of extrinsic value on gold and silver, that illusion is also being shattered. But these were all attributes of the controlling system. So I don't need to go too deep into that, but this is what's occurring, and it is substantial with this. I could go into many things about, how the insurance will not but these are all the fraudulent, dark things that does not have humanity's best interests in mind. It has the money in mind, if you will, and whatever way that they could get out of paying anything, that's what they would do because it was all about the profit in their pockets and it's all about money rather than the people. So, on the macro level worldwide, this is being shown. So, we are in very good times. Femka, she had a very beautiful experience today. I will not share what it was, but what I will say, it's very substantial and very indicative of more of a higher divine presence in this now upon earth. Um, and when these things occur, because I'm an overseer of the ascension, it is usually given to me as a briefing. It comes into my awareness. And as I say, when it happens with one, it happens with more simultaneously. And this I know. So I am sharing that. And I believe in the coming days, Femka may share that herself publicly. But that is her choice. And also, it's whatever way it's divine, whatever occurs with it. But again, very substantial and indicative of this great shift going forward. Right at this time, so this channel, what I have here, this will be dropped shortly. So I put the notice uh, for anyone. I have the replacement channel that everyone will be migrating to sooner rather than later, I anticipate. And this channel will be just shut down and we'll go to the new channel. Now, ones need to realize what we're doing as we shift through realities and keep going higher. There are times when you must clean the slate of things from the past that you don't want to have such an energetic attachment or memories to the past. And the basics, what is given, is for everyone to the best of your ability to be in the now moment. And everything that happened in the past are only memories. But what occurs if you go energetically into your memories as a co creator of this lifetime, you actually are displacing yourself out of the now and into the past. So it's very important to keep your focus and your sight on the now moment and going forward into your full ascended reality. And what this does, it facilitates it much more quicker. Each one needs to realize you are a powerful co creator. What you have in your consciousness with thoughts and especially memories, then it begins to attract and dictate what you see in your present reality. And it's partially because of this that ones have had, let's say, loops with their past experiences keep coming up and up. And one of the things is get them out of your memory. Know that you are free. There is no such thing as karmic or ancestral debt. Right in the moment, each one of you is free. And by using your co creator abilities, none of that foolishness applies to you. You are a divine being. You are already free. You were free before you come here. The only thing that you may not have been freed of was the illusion. But cut that, sever it. You've got that ability to do it right in the moment. There is no need for any of you to suffer, to be taken advantage of, to exist in misery. That's not what we come here to do. So let that illusion go of your memories and of the past. None of you could change anything in your past if you tried. You have written it exactly that way to play out. Yes, many of you have had traumatic experiences, but it was necessary as part of your divine training to make you what you are today in your divinity. So it's no reason to delve or dwell on the past in memories because you can't change it. So what you do is you come to that realization knowing that you're not meant to change it. It was part of learning and taking the value from every experience and to know that all of those are tests that you had to do for this very time. Yes, ones of you are still getting tests, if you will. However, when you got the answers to the tests, you excel much quicker. And just even by knowing that everything that occurs in your reality now, if it's negative, it's just a test. And you have the choice on how to address a negative thing. You can let it control you, which is not mastery, and then you'll succumb to it to whatever degree, or don't let it control you and know that it's a test and apply the higher way, the higher divinity to it. Then you'll find you'll overcome it much quicker. I rambled quite a bit. Any questions at this point as I unmute some others?
I love everything you said, Rick. Yeah, we're all divine fractals of Source Creator. We're equal. We all have our own unique gifts to bring to the table, and we can feed us all and edify each other by our gifts. I always encourage everyone to speak up because we're all unique. Yet we're all divine fractals of Creator. So we all have something very important to offer the all, you know, to edify the all, to, you know, bring it on.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. Yes, and that's what it is. It's, we're to do this ascension all together, and thank you for bringing this up, Kevin. Each one has a piece to the puzzle, and this is why the unity and coming together is so important. And, you know, with that, what is written, which is true, although many things were manipulated in the Bible, what Jesus had said, where two or more gather, and that is so important, and it is so true. And having said that, where two or more gather, you begin to contribute the pieces to the puzzle that elevates all of you, if you will, and you begin to unlock. So by coming together and having the conversations, the discussions, uh, you keep compiling each other with the gnosis and the information that keeps elevating and elevating each one up. And it's like a video game. As you keep rising, you keep unlocking, if you will, new secrets, but also new bits of information about yourself and why you are here. Keep it simple. So yes, and it takes us all. And if that was not true, I would not be doing what I do, and none of you as well. So that is the truth. Anyone else have a comment or a question?
Hey, hey, Rick, and hi, everyone. I was going to mention that it was Saturday, sometime like maybe 11. Oh, there's Ruby. Sometime around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I felt this like wave come over me. And it was sort of vertigo like, but I could tell that it was different than it was while I was sitting out talking to my neighbor. He was telling me a very profound story about his life. And then I read your post, Rick, that you said that possible bifurcation of timelines within the next 24 hours. It had been written 6 hours prior to that what I experienced. So I had that. And then I also had another experience between Saturday and Sunday where I almost always wake up at 4:30 a.m. It's a pattern that's been with me for several months, maybe more than 6 months. And I woke up at 7:30 a.m. Felt like it was 4:30. And I felt well, that's odd because it seemed like the same amount of time had passed that I'd slept. And then I actually read Femke had put out a post that there was this 3 hour rift, time rift, I think is how it was written, at overnight that time. So I was just wanting to share that I had those experiences that aligned.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. And hi, Ruby. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm laughing because it's beautiful your experience and yeah, similar things we are. And this also allowed, I think about 2 days ago, but it's been happening on and off with Femke and I, over maybe the last week or more. Um, the dizziness because we're at a threshold of two realities, and it's funny. You can sit down and you're all right, but if you stand up, it's like if your head gets into that different reality. So it's the funny sensations with it. But as I had shared before the plunge, my physical vessel was being downgraded so it could exist in the density, and then we're on our way back up. So I experience usually with if it's any very serious uh, ascension symptoms or experiences, usually I will feel it first before the others. And one of the reasons because I'm a teacher and a guide, and I need to feel it to know what is occurring with the collective, if you will, at any given time, because then also I'm equipped with the knowledge and what's occurring to assist ones through what is happening with them. So then they have a direction and they overcome any of the discomforts, much quicker with it. And I'm laughing, Paula, because it's so beautiful for you sharing this, that you had those experiences. But with the 3 hours of time, yeah, that was a funny one as well. Yeah, I know it happened. I just don't remember the particulars, and Femke put it out about it. But beautiful. Mm.
Yes,
Anyone
thank you.
else? Go ahead. Yeah, you're welcome, Paula. If you're finished, anyone else wish to speak or any questions or any comments? Step right up.
One day last week, I woke up and I went in the kitchen to make my coffee and looked at the clock on the stove, and it was like flashing. The power had been off for 6 hours while I was sleeping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Did it feel like you slept for 6 hours though, Kevin?
Yeah, some nights I've been sleeping better, but I usually wake up once during the night and I can sometimes fall asleep again, but not always. Funny sleep now.
Yeah, I'm laughing again because now I thought of an experience a few nights ago. I think 2 nights ago. Uh, Divinely, what occurs when any of you are kept awake all night? It's like you're on a divine watch while others are sleeping, because there is a difference in your awakened consciousness state and your sleeping rest state of the physical vessel. But nevertheless, there are times that, yes, ones are kept awake all night, and the magic divine time of 3:33 when some are waking in the morning. These are all divine attributes and for divine reasons. However, to share with you all quickly, yeah, I think it was 2 nights ago. I was really tired and wanted to rest, and that night we had how did it occur? Well, through that night, 8 times I needed to get up to use the washroom, and each time I just begin to go to sleep, and I would have to get up either to use the washroom or because we had a friendly mouse that was unusually loud in the cabin here. He's only about as long as your finger, but the noises he make is like a huge rodent. So tried to get him out through the night. And so there was the mouse. So I ended up calling him Keto, and for uh, a very important reason, because also that same night was a mosquito that kept coming in, awakening me. So I had mosquito and I had mosquito. So it was kind of hilarious, and I was kept awake, I believe, till it was almost daylight in the morning again. And with this ascension, what I say to ones, if you're able to do it, you need to rest when your physical vessel needs to rest. Do not resist it. Now, I know ones have certain jobs and obligations, if you will, to the old to a degree. However, it comes a time when you must listen to your ascending body clock rather than the mechanical one. And each finds that out in their own way, should they need to. So, with that, any other questions or comments?
Hi, Rick. This is Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. Go ahead.
Hey, I noticed during the plunge that I didn't have any, I had about used to have like 20 heat flashes a day, and I haven't had any in the last 2 weeks, maybe one or two in the last 2 weeks. And I've definitely been suffering from the neck, stiff neck, and pain in the neck. And see, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I've just been really crying and almost crying and laughing at the same time. I can't even get a cry out before I start laughing. So my emotions are just kind of all over the place. But I just wanted to share that to see if anybody else is feeling those things too.
Oh, I am, Sheila. I go through that all the time. I got a very emotional guy. Wear my heart on my sleeve, but oh yeah, I cry. But yeah, honestly.
Mhm. Yes.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'll come in at this point. So the last 4 days, um, it's basically been I had two, I'll call them challenging days, and two very good days. And the so 4 days ago, I found out that a friend, a close friend who I'd made since coming to Siem Reap in Cambodia, had passed on. Her name was Angelique. Most people knew her as Angel. She was 26 years old. And I woke up to find a post that was notifying people on Facebook that she had passed on. And because of where I am now in my own personal journey, I didn't grieve and suffer in the way I would have done in the past, but it did affect me, and it did create an impact on me, and I spent a day with it, sitting with it, and trying to come to an understanding of what was going on, what it was inside me that was impacting, and the following day it had lessened. That impact had lessened, but it was still there. And I'd reached out to Brother Rick, I'd reached out to Brother Lee, and had conversations about it. And ultimately, it boiled down to two things. The first thing which I realized directly with the assistance of my brothers was the key was my sense of injustice, because she was a beautiful being and I considered her to be a light bearer. Um, and so there was a sense of unfairness to it, and that was emanating from a sense of deeper shame within me. Later on, I also realized it was actually pointing me towards. It began steering my thinking and my consideration towards myself in regards to something else that was missing. And after I had a eureka moment after a particular thread of thought, and the realization, well, it took me right back to my relationship with the mother and the father. Um, I never had a very good relationship with my mother growing up, and I've addressed pretty much all of the issues within me to do with my relationship with my mother, but I'd never really placed any consideration or any mind on the relationship with my father. My biological father left when I was very young. I reconnected with him when we were older, but we've never had a deep relationship. My stepfather, even though he was a wise man for his time, was never able to really fulfill the role of a father in a way that he should. I think he was intimidated by the idea of being too heavy handed with a stepchild rather than a direct son. But I realized that I had a sort of gap and a void of the father figure in my life. And there has been three occasions, about 4 years ago now, 3.5 years ago, where for the first and only time since then, Father directly spoke to me, Prime Creator spoke to me in actual words. And I realized that in that eureka moment that I hadn't even thought to place Father or Prime Creator in that role as that father figure. uh, it, and when I had this eureka moment, I realized, why didn't it? Why was that not the first thing for me to do? Um, Mostly because I wasn't even aware that I had this gap. But when I had that moment, I did it. I placed him in that place, and that created what I can best describe as a sense of completion. And the 2 days since then, Um, without going into too much detail, I've had very positive days where things have begun connecting, clicking, things have become more effortless, things have started to flow. I've seen in those who I spend the most time with around here, their energy levels begin to rise. They have overcome things. People who I have been meeting out and about, have I've been having conversations with strangers I've been meeting in my friend's bar, and almost unanimously, every single one of them who I've had the conversation with, by the end of the conversation, they've said something to the effect of, "This is exactly what I needed to hear. This is exactly what I needed to." This is the kind of conversation, and that I could tell that something had been ignited in them. And today I had a very powerful and positive meeting with a chap, because called Teo is his name. And for a while now, like many of the guardians and ambassadors of GPMS and light workers and people on this process, we are challenged by the fact that we understand the greater mission we are on. We understand, we understand the importance of the roles we are playing, but at the same time, we are attempting to meet the challenges of the materialistic and the practical world that is still existing around us. And there is that constant friction and pull between the two. And so one of my, requests and queries to the universe was, I don't need much to just exist in this material form right now. Can you please bring something to me that will allow this? And this chap, he's invented a very simple product, but one of the most beautiful things about this product is it's everything about it is new world. It's made from positive recycled non toxic material. It's made by local women. A vast majority of the money that's made from the profit is going back into the communities. Everything about it, his entire ethos is that every single person involved in this, from production to sale onwards, every single person must benefit. Everybody must benefit equally. He has absolutely no interest in making lots and lots and lots of money. He just like me, just wants enough to be able to live, and then wants to put everything else back into the community and to philanthropic um, causes outside. It was like meeting, he's about 10 years older than me, maybe a bit older. It was basically like meeting an older version of myself, like two peas in a pod. And um, today, before, as you were saying about being kept awake, and I really wanted to go to sleep at midnight tonight, because tomorrow at 2 o'clock I'm going to go and see the women who make this, hand make this product. And but something was keeping me up, and then I saw this chat come up, and so I realized now that it was important for me to convey this, that how in simply 4 days I went from what Brother Lee would call a state of negation, ready to throw in the towel. I was ready to, in essence, go. I found some lovely spots where I can go and find a tree, sit down, and just wait, either until I transition or the universe does some drastic thing to interact and get me off on track. And I went from being in that state to now everything flowing, becoming effortless, and connecting with beautiful people who are in alignment with the new world, not just in themselves as people, but in the very actions and things that they are doing. It was that quick, and for me, I feel that is the biggest indicator of the bifurcation event for my experience, and that I am now on the upper track and able to rise back up to where I was again and be even further. So I'll take a pause there and land my plane, but thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Mike. An excellent example of that as well. Yeah, yeah. So through the course of the ascension, I'll use a cliche, if you will, perhaps, that you die many deaths, and you are reborn higher and higher as we go forward. And that is so true. That's advancing uh, the, to the higher levels. And it's also, the mastery of doing this that we're all on. And what we're all doing together through the experience is what Mike said. As we master an experience, it is not only does it affect us in our reality, it affects the whole collective will. And so the more that these experiences are mastered, it advances one, if you will, in the soul group or at the certain level where ones may be. So it is very important, and it's important to know that everything that you are doing, once again, is not just for yourself, that it's having such a gracious, widespread effect and impact. And it is rather beautiful when you rise above the density of the trials and tribulations and the tests, if you will. Very beautiful. Thank you, Brother Mike. And Brother Mike is a very, he's modest yet, but I believe um, perhaps modest. He is a very excellent, good brother and teacher as well. And I love listening to Mike, and he goes very deep, as we can see. So, having said that, anyone else wish to comment or speak at this time?
Yes, I just wanted to say that it's 22:22 here. So I'm looking at four twos. Um,
Hi,
I,
Oscar and
yeah,
Zuki.
Oscar's here as well.
Go ahead, Zuki.
He can hear you. Yeah, I don't have much to share, but I was just, before I came into the call, I was just resting here on the couch and feeling very content and feeling very connected, and was just feeling into how, I don't know, resting the body is so helpful for me for some reason in feeling wholeness. And you said something about that, but I just wanted to share that because that was my, like, my experience this evening. Um, I'm in a forest and it's getting a bit colder outside, which also felt quite good, like a bit crisp. And yeah, that was actually just what I wished to share. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Juki. And and Oscar is the dog. I love him so much. I met Juki and Oscar when we were in the Netherlands. And thank you, Juki, because now you remind me. I think I said before, but if I did, it doesn't matter. I'm going to reiterate. I've been divinely instructed at some point, I believe, in the future, but I'll say everything is tentative with I. Um, going to have, it may be in the advanced twin flame group, or also on here, or also in the beautiful group that Paula has set up for us. What I'll be doing is like a guided yoga nidra, but with no script. And when we do that, anyone can join, and I'll want everyone just laying down, and we'll begin just moving some energy around and looking at the heart activations, and also we'll be working with some energy and some of those things to keep it simple. So this will be upcoming, and I know anyone that joins in it um, will contribute as well as we do this. And begin, there will be some of you that will begin to feel more of the energy moving and will become more familiar with your energetic abilities, your sensations. And so just sharing that as well, that is upcoming. And what I need to say, I say tentatively because I keep so busy, and usually in the divine moment is when I do things, and sometimes I anticipate to do things. However, I get called divinely aside, and then some of those things I don't get completed. And sometimes it's not about actually completing the things, it's about mentioning it and speaking it out into reality. And then you will find sometimes, as with yourself, someone else does it. And that's what it's about, catalyzing and initializing these things as well. So, this is what I anticipate in the near future. And yeah, ones will just lay down with your phone on close to you. So we go through uh, it's not it's a mixture of a guided meditation, but also following and feeling everything as we do it all together. So it's somewhat different, and it's no music with it, if you will. So just sharing that is what I have been instructed to do to assist ones with feeling more of the energetic effects of their self and to become more familiar with that. So, any other comments or questions?
Hi, everyone. I have a couple of questions. I'd love to get your take on the physical symptoms that have been ramping up for me, I would say in the last 48 hours. The ear ringing, both left and right, has been very pronounced and very loud, and the pressure in the heart space. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that.
I suggest the ground. That will help some.
Uh, Thank you, Sharon. Sharon, first, before I fully answer that, where are you located in the U.S. or where are
I'm
you?
in the US and I move between New York and Florida.
All right, so you're presently somewheres between Georgia, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, are you?
Well,
Somewhere
no,
in that
actually right
area.
now I'm in New York, but I spend
Oh,
majority
all
of the
right,
year in Florida. I just happen to be in New York for 2 weeks.
all right, excellent. All right, with what they would call in Orthodox medicine the tinnitus, uh, or tinnitus, is it? Whatever it is, with the ringing in the ears. What this is for all of you to know is that I will say that everything is vibration and frequency, and every vibration and frequency has a sound. And with this ascension, to keep it simple, the higher timeline, your higher state of being, but also your higher reality resides on a higher frequency. And when your physical vessel and your energetic vessel comes close to a higher timeline experience, you will hear the high pitch in the ears, if you will. Sometimes, for I, mostly it only lasts for maybe a few seconds or a minute just to let me know that I'm entering a higher space and a higher reality, and I need to know this. So it's a guidance mechanism to let you know, in the least, if you're entering an elevated portion of reality or even a higher timeline. So this is great with this. Now, there are some that you may have prolonged ringing because you're staying close to that threshold of not actually going completely into the higher timeline and not going back into the lower timeline. So you stay at a place where you have a constant ringing and of different pitches. So it's important for all to know that different pitches also indicate a different reality or something different occurring. So let's see, is there anything else I can share on that right now? Now, yes, there is. Also, it needs to be understood that you are evolving. Your physical vessel is evolving internally, which means that everything inside of it is changing. And also with crystalline process, which is very real, and I know many here can attest to the crystals coming out of their bodies, and they know it's true. Um, that at different times with how will I put this? When what we say when diamond ray activations are coming in or what have you, what is actually occurring is different parts of your physical anatomy are being upgraded with these crystal. with these emissions. I don't want to go deep in that. That's why I'm trying to choose words and just come back out of it right now. But all of these things affect these ringing and different sounds in the ears, if you will, and in your ears as well, the inner ear, what deals with balance as well as hearing different frequencies. It also assists you in stabilizing you in different realities. This is also connected to the vertigo sensations that ones have, because you're not fully in one reality. When you have these vertigo, dizzy um, sensations, and need to close your eyes and all these things, because there are different things that are occurring with your physical vessel being upgraded. And this is also why some will say that they know they're taken on the ships, and in reality, you're taken at times, yes, into a different dimensional state, which is also in part and parcel with the overall ascension. And again, without getting too deep into that, your heart pressure. This is also several things contribute to these sensations. One thing that needs to be realized, a common symptom of this ascension is heart palpitations, and uh, different speeds of the heart racing and slowing. And more reason for that, your heart is also, the physical heart itself is also changing. And again, the way that the blood flowed in your old vessel is also changing. And again, your entire circulatory system is changing. So there is two things that is occurring simultaneously, is the energetic emotions and empathic feelings of what others are feeling, as well as the uh, new construction of your internal anatomy of your physical vessel. So I need to say that there is more than one thing that can affect these sensations. And it's more so, Sharon, up for you to, when you're feeling this, to, let's say, in your heart, to identify what is its source. Is it telling you something about yourself? What were you just thinking about? What was your experience? What is the associated uh, energetics with it? Or if it's not yours and you know that, then you know it's coming from the outside, meaning that you could be in proximity to someone that is feeling pressure in their heart. So it's important to begin to compile the information so you can isolate and identify exactly where it's coming from. Does that make sense?
Yes, it actually does. I took the whole two hurricanes very hard. I couldn't even understand why I was having such a heart-based reaction. I just felt like it was a little too coincidental that the impact place of both those hurricanes was on Sarasota, which I don't know if you know, but there's an energy vortex there. So it almost felt like it was
Cold
specifically
trying.
it specifically hit there, and I took it very hard.
I have been to that energy vortex in Sarasota, and it's real.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot more happening than just a hurricane. Uh, so from an energetic perspective, I probably was like energetically at war with whatever was going on. And it definitely took a toll on me physically. And yeah, I guess the reality is that that heart pressure has been there since Helene. Um, but I do know that the backside of every time I do get this pressure in my heart is that my heart expands, and I develop more empathy and a little bit more compassion. So it's an interesting experience. I don't know, this hurricane really threw me because I know there's a lot more at play than we can even fathom.
You're absolutely correct, Sharon. Where you're empathic and getting stronger as everyone is with their empathic abilities, you are feeling outside more and more of the fear and stress. So this makes absolute sense that you would feel it from the outside, and then as a divine one, your recourse or your actions is to transmute it for the collective, if you will,
Mm.
and also for yourself. So, yes, and yeah, and there again, there's so much more that you correctly said that is playing out with all of the dynamics involving what had occurred as well. So you're picking up what I do is I confirm and attest to the things you are picking up on and identifying as well. But to make it not so tricky, it's always important to observe neutrally and so that you don't contaminate what you're getting. If you go in too far into the negative feeling, then it could begin to cause a distorted image of what's actually occurring. So, but I believe you already know that. So that's good.
I'm definitely mastering that lesson right now.
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. It's all advancement and progression forward for everyone.
I think it's a play on our creator abilities also, because I do acknowledge that we have power to change circumstances and affect reality. I don't I feel like with this, especially Hurricane Milton, because I was a little bit more wise to what could happen. I I battled with myself whether or not this needs to happen, or can I physically affect it with my will. And it was interesting. I think I was a little happy to realize that all the prayers that went out, and there were so many, did lower its impact capacity. But I don't know. I don't. Was it a success or a failure?
We say it was a success, and again, once again, you correctly identified we are also very powerful. However, there are times that the divine plan has the priority. But importantly, this doesn't mean that all of the prayers and all of the energy didn't work. It did work, at least to some degree, that was divinely approved. And this is the thing with it. So many that are in fear will attribute these storms to things like harp or give all the power away to the darkness. And the moment that they do that, they're disempowering their self in the omnipotency of Prime Creator as a whole. But we're still on that course of one's understanding and recognizing, and that's a level with the weather manipulation is a level of an instrumental level of awakening consciousness as well, that one's also rise out of that knowing more of their co-creator ability and say that nefarious weather manipulation doesn't exist, and by doing that it eradicates any of the nefarious weather manipulation if there was. So it's important again to know the co-creator power, because what
Mm.
we're actually doing is we're creating ourselves out of that matrix, if you will. And every time you keep your thoughts positive and aligned with your own empowerment, then we do it much quicker. Beautiful.
So what you're saying is that as long as we hold on to the belief that whether a manipulation exists, we're empowering it. And the minute we can move past it to say that it just doesn't exist in my reality, that's when we're actually tapping into the reality that we want.
Yes, yes, more so. With every individual that does that, we create that reality. And it depends upon the empowerment of the individual to how much they affect that outcome. I'll use, for example, with the quote unquote chemtrails, uh, where, where Femke and I are located here, but really, I would say for the most part, it doesn't matter where we're located, that there are none, or very rarely you might see one, where others will see that are close by will see many. It's also because we adjust and we align with that reality, because of our divinity. And there's also divine ones that have, uh, and I can do it in Femke, you can just erase them from the sky as well. You put your eyes up when you see a contrail, you focus your divinity, and in whatever unique way you have, you say, I erase it, and you will see it go as well. But again, it depends upon the belief of one in their self and in their powers. But it is very real. I watched Femke in Denmark a couple years ago. There were no chemtrails, but there were a few little clouds, and she put her fingers up. I think we even had a video of it. She put her finger up and erased the cloud, So this is very real, and truly and openly, um, the divine ones, and especially the feminine, they're so powerful at controlling the weather because they are more so connected with Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Mother Nature, but also us masculine that are in our high divinity are also one with the mother. And the more that you are one with the mother, then you are one with nature and all of nature, including the water, the air, the rain, the sun, and what have you. So it is very real, and yeah, I'll just stop there.
Fascinating. Thank you so
Well,
much. You've given
You're
me a
welcome.
lot to play with.
as
Well,
Hurricane Milton approached, I know of many people across America that were praying for the Floridians. And then I was at category 6, I think, when we went to bed. And then in the morning, we found out what? It diminished that much? And then that just increased the faith of all those Christians that came against that hurricane, whether it was diminished by the white hats or not. Somehow that hurricane diminished to the point where there was a lot less destruction than there could have been. So it's an amazing thing that happened.
Yeah,
It's
the
like a revival
prayers
almost, right? Small revival is happening, I think.
the prayers were intense. I definitely felt that. It had to have impacted. It was like there's no way it couldn't have.
no, absolutely. All the prayers and the divine effort into it. Yes, absolutely, it did. This reminds me, I'll quickly share a story several years ago. It was Hurricane Irma, how that was category 5, no sign of strengthening by the forecasters. And we got the group on Facebook, went in to begin to destruct the eye and disempower it. Then the next forecast that come out said it's impossible what just happened with Irma, that it's the eye has begun to destruct and it has dropped to category 4. But to keep it a short story, Then father come in and said, abort. We had to let it go. So as soon as I put out on Facebook, abort, shortly after, it went right back up to Hurricane 5 status. But this was a divine exercise, also testing the strength and the abilities of the combined effort for all those who joined. And again, yes, they saw it very real. And I was so grateful that I had the NOAA reports, the discussions on it put out to prove to them, everyone that participated in it, that they really, and we actually did it. Having said this, it was interesting also to observe how they propagated Milton, how they created it. But I need to say, Milton did not exist, nor was there any significant low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico to turn into a hurricane so quickly. What had occurred and what was obvious to I is that they began to put the propaganda out before anything was there. And as a result of doing that, they tricked the consciousness into creating that big hurricane. So they manipulated the consciousness, the nefarious intent with putting things out in the news. And some of you may be able to attest to what I said, but it doesn't matter. This was the truth. By them began putting out falsified reports that there was a Hurricane 5 already in Mexico when there wasn't. It was created. So this also needs to be known as well. And this is important for all to not be tricked into this as well, because they use the news. It's the same as with the weatherman, if you will, and how they manipulate the consciousness into believing it. If you have a weatherman, if you will, in a certain area says it's going to be sunny, plus 73 today, a nice day. If you have him saying that in the community, or even let's say the state, or well, if the majority of the people believe it, that will be the weather. But what I need to say, if the majority of the people say no, it's going to be 83 today and it's going to be sunny, then what you will see will occur. It will be. So I need to, also say this, especially with the weather forecasters, that a lot of the storms and things are created because of the oblivious conscious creation by so many souls that do not fully know how they contribute to reality and how they are co-creating those adverse effects. Any other comments or questions?
During the hurricane in North Carolina, Duke Energy, to add to the mayhem, well, add to the flooding, opened a dam. Um, yeah, that just flooded out it's caused a lot of destruction by them doing that, but it was done on purpose because they work for uh, against the people. And there were over 20,000 people dead in North Carolina. I know that from boots on the ground. It's a lot worse than we thought. But there's other things that happened that we don't, and other reasons hidden, both good and bad, of why it happened. So it's really paradoxical in many ways what happened there.
Well, it is, and it's revealing and showing so many things. There is a lot that have a codependency on a white hat military, if you will, and these sort of things. So, a lot of that narrative was saying the white hats are in control. And let's say if they are, why were they not there, or why are they not there? So again, it's exposing a lot more of the higher truth and showing the people that they need to stand and stop at a codependency thinking that someone else is going to do something for them because it's each one that is their own savior combined together that is the full savior. So it does have important, it is exposing and revealing important things. And we also, as I say, there are many false narratives out there that are keeping ones in places of complacency, not stepping forward under the illusion that something is being done worldwide for them, when in fact that is not the truth. And there are false narratives and storylines created to that effect. However, God is omnipotent and all is being exposed and all is being revealed. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, please. By these recent events, we know that FEMA is not a friend of we the people or the American people. I'm not American, but I can see what FEMA has done and or tried to do even in Florida, but somehow they didn't get their way down there as much as they thought they would. But yeah, so I think this exposure of FEMA shows the American people that there's no need for this organization. And just the fact that the government of North Carolina allowed FEMA in there to disrupt survival efforts, this is treasonous against we, the people, the American people. And it led to, with with help from Duke Energy, with help from other nefarious sources. How how could they hurt their own people? Now we know Kamala Harris's husband is a major shareholder in the mining company that wants to mine all that stuff there, all that lithium, and so it goes right to the very top, the Democratic Party. That's what I'm getting at. I yield.
But this goes back, Kevin, to what I said in the beginning. This is politics in the entire evil crime syndicate worldwide that's being exposed and shown what it is. So you take the whole thing in one bag and throw it away. It doesn't have anything that benefits the people nor the future of the people. So it's all being exposed and revealed and thrown away. It's but nevertheless, any other comments or questions?
I'm just going to wish everybody a good night. It's very late here now, and I'm going to get my head down. It's been wonderful to listen to you all and to have an opportunity to speak. So, love, light, and gratitude, beautiful brothers and sisters, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Good night.
Good evening.
And thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your hero's journey with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for listening.
So, any other comments or questions? I may soon wrap this up myself. We're in Romania. Time isn't getting close, I think, to midnight.
I just wanted to give you one last bit of intel. Tim Waltz has been exposed as being pedophilia and will probably soon be arrested. So I just wanted to give you that little tidbit of good intel that Tim Waltz, the pedophile, will be exposed very shortly and probably arrested. But it's out there. So
What would this matter, and how would it benefit the world, Kevin?
the fact that someone running for the vice presidency of America might, well, I think it's relevant that he's exposed before the election so that the people can come together more in unity and the Democratic voters will know that this is what their leaders are. I think that's important right now, but that's just
I,
me. Yes.
well, thank you, but I need to say what's important is the worldwide referendum of the people, GPMS.world. That is the most important election, not any election in any individual country, because again, that is the problem. But nevertheless, yes, as you're saying, all will be revealed and exposed, and that's what's occurring. However, also what I need to say is that the focus needs to be put towards creating the new world and save as many people from dying daily as we can. Right at this time, there's over 33,000 that die each day of hunger worldwide because of a savage political evil network control system. So the whole thing is being replaced. So the most important election ever is GPMS.world, and that's the election for the new complete worldwide system that liberates all of humanity and places everyone in abundance. And that's where the focus should be instead of on the political illusion and games, is what I need to say. But nevertheless, it's each with what they wish to think and believe. But more importantly, as the ones support the old system, they're keeping it alive as well. And it's very important if they wish to have a new free and abundant world, they need to support the replacement system.
I totally
Any other,
agree, Rick. We have to release the old paradigms in order to enter into the new, um, the golden age of mankind. This is where we're headed, and I totally agree with you. But all old systems must be, uh, must collapse, and then we start the new system with
yeah,
more
the old
the quantum.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
old systems collapse by not spreading their propaganda and putting focus on it. See, this is where
that's
so many makes the mistake, if you will. They put the focus on what they are doing. They
mhm.
are the few. Worldwide, everyone needs to realize that at any given time, the supposed politicians in power only equals around 47,000. Why are the people putting their focus on what they're doing instead of putting the focus on 6 or 7 billion creating the new system? This is the nonsensical views that we have with so many yet that are not fully awakened. However, more and more are awakening to what they should be doing, what is sense, if you will, instead of energizing and spreading the propaganda of something that is also part of the trickery to keep one's occupied from creating the new. So the great wisdom is breaking through more and more of that so that that is dropped, that we get the new reality created quicker. How much do they have to see for centuries? They've been seeing the same old show, if you will. So what's occurring is that old looping has been broken, and it's being broken more and more every day. So, anyways, any more questions or comments? I'm soon closing this down because the temperature here, I'm sitting outdoors, must be getting close to zero. Any more comments or questions?
One last thing, Rick. Do you think we'll see a separation between uh, the lower old paradigms and those that choose to stay there, as compared to those that choose to move to a totally new reality, and based on love, joy, peace, abundance, all the time?
you're seeing an assimilation, if you will, that the new reality is replacing that old one. Yes, that is God's plan, and that is the divine plan, and that's what's occurring. But everyone needs to realize as well that not every what you think is a human being on Earth is not a soul. There's close to about 2 billion that are not human souls and they do not go forward. So, having said this, there's approximately 6 billion. If they all make it, maybe only 5 billion. That number fluctuates and changes because of reality changing, and when things in the past were prolonged, the longer they're prolonged, then the less that will go forward. However, the overall divine plan is what you could look at as an assimilation of the heaven on earth, overtaking everything on earth. The evil has lost, but it has not fully lost until everyone, to a sufficient degree, stops supporting their propaganda and their agenda and realize that the people, the divine ones, are the real power and to know what's occurring. And then it's done quickly. So, having said that, this is the divine plan. It is the will of God for Earth. It has been ordained, if you will. It's been written in all major beliefs, all prophecies, all faiths to some degree worldwide. This time is here. There is nothing that stops it. There is nothing that can stop it because it is the prime creator's will and it is what is happening. And if that wasn't so, you would not have the Great Awakening. We would not even be here tonight speaking about it. And GPMS.world would not even be in this reality. So it shows you that the darkness doesn't have any power. It's just when the ones realize to shift their focus to creating the new world in mass, and it gets done instantly. And it's ascertained, and it's guaranteed.
Awesome chat tonight. Thanks so much, Rick. And we'll see you next time. And yeah, it was awesome. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. We got her all under control, all under divine control. Any closing comments or questions?
Oh, I also want to say thank you. It was very beautiful to be here again.
You're welcome, Juki. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting pretty cold, so everyone, you're all thank you for joining, and I'm going to stop this recording, and I'll soon shut this down. So with that, uh, this recording I'll put in the chat. Anyone can share it anywheres worldwide. It doesn't matter. No one needs to ask permission. So that'll
Uh,
be here in the chat,
well,
and
well, well, Brother Rick,
that'll be
this
in
is
the chat. Just one moment, please, brother.
yes, I have
So,
your comment. Well, thank you so much for
so as I was saying, this will be in the chat, and I'm just shutting it down now as in process. So with that, love, light, and gratitude, and everyone have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.